so that people get to see what is here. Today we are going to look at English, and we're in our lesson 2. For those who are just joining us, if other people are not on thinking it was supposed to be CRE, no. Today we decided to have everyone study English since your teacher is not around. So today we are having English for those who are just joining us. I hope that answers a few questions. So please text your group members. Benjamin, I hope that makes sense to you. Text your members who could be off thinking it's CRE that we are going to look at this week. The teacher who teaches geography, and I think CRE is not around. So we shall be sharing. We shall make sure we share English and other compulsories like math, and whatever comes up, I would encourage that we simply attend. Does that make sense?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
teacher.
okay. So I want to go back to something. Before I introduce this one, since people are claiming they did not attend to my, they did not see my sample report, I'm going to share the sample report here. And then you remind me of the components or the elements. Which are those core elements we had looked at in paper, in a sample report? Who can be able to tell us very fast? Who can be able to remind us? Rebecca? Rebecca? Rebecca, your hand is up. You should be talking to us. Okay, it seems you have a network problem. Let me take Blessing. Blessing, can you remind us? Yes, Blessing.
The title.
Yes, what did we say the title contains? Please look for a good network area. Who can, because we need to now practically look at these things. He said, what does the title contain?
Of the report.
It contains the receiver and the purpose of the report. If we take a look at our titles here, a report to the resident district commissioner about the mysterious attack in Mama village. So who is receiving this letter for us? Who is receiving this letter and what is the purpose of this letter? So that's what I'm interested in. Rebecca, who is receiving that letter and what is the purpose? Casper? Yes? Yes, Casper?
I think that the resident district commissioner is receiving.
And what is the purpose of the letter?
Like they're trying to tell him about the mysterious attack in the village, like that.
Okay, so that is the purpose of this letter. You are informing the district commissioner about the mysterious attacks or the mysterious attack in Mama village. We said we do not write them with subtitles, but simply the first thing after the title, what do we have? After the title, I want us, Benjamin, can you remind us?
So reminding you about what?
Why is your hand
I'm
up?
asking it.
Why is your hand up?
And you wanted us to explain about the report. Yes.
Now I'm asking you after
So I
the
wanted to
title. Yes, after the title, what element do we have after the title?
after the title, we shall have the introduction.
Yes, we have the introduction. After the introduction, what do you have?
The body.
Written in? What does the body contain?
The body contains actually the things that you wanted to write about and the main complaint.
The main complaint or the actual events in a narration. You narrate them in what we call indented paragraphs. Now, this is what we mean by indented paragraphs. So I wanted to be able to share, especially with those who were not here. So this is what we mean. This is our title. What I'm underlining here is our title. This is our title. Then our introduction is this one. This is our introduction. We have left space from the margin, this space here. This is what we call indenting, to leave space from the margin. So this is how you write that one without subtitles or without headings. So here we have the introduction that on the 14th of September 2021, Mama Village experienced an attack by a mysterious gang in the wee hours of the night that terrorized residents. So this is what we are saying. That is an introduction. Then you get to the body. The body is a narration of exactly what happened. That during the attack, many homes were ransacked and a cluster of residents were beaten. So you write them in paragraphs. After that, you go to the next paragraph while narrating exactly what happened. After the body, what do we have? That's what I'm interested in. I'm only simply showing you. After the body, what do we have? Benjamin, you can mute your microphone. Melanie, could you also mute your microphone to avoid a lot of feedback unnecessary? Benjamin, again, your hand is up. You want to tell us after the body, what do we have?
So I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay. Yes, after the body, students, we are looking at the review of what we looked at last week in terms of the simple report. I gave you elements or the outline or the format of a simple report, particularly the incident report of activities that happen at school. So I shared an example in our Google Classroom, but it seems people don't visit Google Classroom. So I decided to share with this class as a way of reminding us. So I'm asking, after the body, what do we have? Because I remember we looked at all the elements until the conclusion and everything. What do we have after the body? Okay, Blessing is saying a conclusion. I think you are not sure. Let me see whose hand is up here. Isaac. Isaac?
After the body, we have
Beg your pardon?
conclusion.
You have?
Conclusion comes.
Okay, you
The
go to a yes, you go to a conclusion. Thank you. So let's take a look at it. How do we conclude? So you give an account of exactly what happened, then you give a conclusion. That in conclusion, the attack was gruesome, was a gruesome act, and the residents are still wondering what the malevolent intention of the gang was. But all the same, the police managed to rush to the scene and restore confidence of the community. Then you go to the last bit. If you remember, I said you sign, name in capital letter, and then your designation. This is what I'm saying here. Let me show you here. I said you have a signature here. So this is where someone was supposed to sign. Here. So I'm
Good morning, class. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Morning, sir.
Yeah,
Morning,
it's done.
Andy.
Our teacher, our CRA teacher is not with us this week, but she'll be back next week. We are sorry for the inconvenience. We are sorry for
It's
the
okay, sir.
inconvenience. And then our teacher, Teacher Lurry. Teacher Lurry is off. Let us wait for him. So
Okay,
someone here
okay.
says, someone here asks for the meaning of we, like in the sentence, in the wee hours of the morning. Who thinks, who will give us the meaning of the word we?
Pardon?
Someone someone here in the chat is asking for the meaning of the word we. We, as used in the sentence, in the wee hours of the morning. Who will raise up his hand and tell us what we means?
We.
Yeah. It was Kemi Gisha who asked for the meaning of the word we. W-E-E. Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
W-E.
Yes, Casper. Casper, what does we mean?
Like it means like the late hours of the
Sorry?
morning, like the late hours, like when it's almost becoming morning, like midnight, like that.
Somehow, yes. The word, when they say wee hours of the morning, they actually mean in the very, very early hours of the morning, like just after midnight.
Like 1 a.m.
It's like 1 a.m. can be referred to as wee hours of the morning. Do we have any other person with a question? Kemi Gisha, are you there? Kemi
Teacher,
Gisha?
pardon?
The word wee hours of the morning means the time just after midnight. For example, at around 1 or 2. So if something like in the case of the report to the RDC, in case someone is murdered at 1, at 1:30, at 2, you will say there was a murder in the wee hours of the morning. At that time, most of us are usually asleep. Was I clear? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
No, was I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So do we have another question as regards to the report that we were discussing with Teacher Lurry? Hello? Hello? we are trying to wait for, I'm getting in touch with Teacher Lurry to see what we can do to finish our lesson. And then also, as we wait for Teacher Lurry, our Google Classroom code, hello? Our
Yes,
classroom
teacher.
code is ZQNZD. That's the classroom code. So let me put this in the chat. Yes, please.
Could you write it in the chat?
Yes, I'm doing that right now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Hello. Sorry, my network went off. I'm here now.
Okay.
Welcome back, Teacher Lurry.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back.
We had a small power blackout. Enable me share my screen.
Yes, I'm doing that right now.
So I was still telling students, I hope you've understood that. In case you have a question, you ask, but now I want to go to general reports, the total opposite of the simple report, the one that involves investigation. So if you have a question within the simple report, please ask. Are we together? I'm asking if you've
Yes.
understood. Okay, if you've understood this other one, I kindly, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So in case you had a question within the simple report, this is your chance to ask. Then I go to general report. There's a hand there. Maria Tracy, please mute your microphone, mute your video. Tiberius? Tiberius, yes?
Master, in that conclusion, the conclusion.
A conclusion is a recap.
Conclusion, master, the conclusion.
Yes, I do understand. May you please look for a better background? Look for a better background. Yes. I was saying a conclusion is a recap of exactly what happened. Yes.
Okay.
A conclusion. Stop the music that is playing at your background. Can you stop the music at your background? I've muted you. Look for a free noise environment before you come back. That's what I'm going to ask you to do. And then I want to explain what the conclusion usually is a recap. For example, if you look at this conclusion, it gives you exactly how it ended or what brought the event to an end. If you look at this gives you an account of what exactly, this is how we ended, or this is how the attack came to an end. There was police coming to the rescue, but already the damage was done. So the conclusion is exactly, you narrate, remember these are facts. So you tell us exactly what happened. Did the police intervene? You know, that is exactly what you're supposed to tell us. That's why I'm saying it does not, there is no formula. You only give us the actual conclusion of how if it was a fight, what happened? You tell us maybe James was taken to the police, or one ended up killing the other. That's what I was trying to say. A conclusion has no specific way it happened. So Maria Tracy, your hand is up. Let us ask these questions very fast, then I go to the next aspect.
Teacher,
Yes,
excuse me, teacher, when I'm writing a simple report, yeah,
yes.
can I include the similes?
No, try to be as simple as possible. I'm going to ask you to remember the rules we're following when we're writing letters. You must be clear so that people understand you. Don't be too complicated.
Okay.
Are we together? And since
Yes.
it's a report, everything is in the past tense.
In a past tense.
Yes, don't say things are happening. You write what happened. That's why it is a report of what happened.
Okay.
Okay, next person, Veronica Birunji, your hand is up very fast.
Excuse me, teacher, on this part of the conclusion,
Yes.
like when you're going to sign, like on reported by, are we supposed to skip a line after the conclusion to that part of?
Reported by, I've said compiled by.
I mean compiled by.
You don't skip lines. This is just for the sake of formality here, but you do not skip lines. In English, we do not skip lines because that will be double paragraphing. You look at this is indented paragraphing. You skip a line, it is double paragraphing. Are we now okay with that? So I am going to go to what brought me here today. Tiberius, your hand is still up, or you forgot to put it down? Have you switched off the music at home? Okay,
So I can't hear anything.
You are gonna. That is not good English. You are not gonna. You're going to. Please, let's speak proper English. Okay, fine. Let me now go to what brought me here today. General report. A general report is the total opposite of what we know as the simple report. It has the total opposite of all those things that we want. Okay, so today I want to share with us the opposite of it, and then we come up with at least a meaningful idea. So for those, I'm going to give you a trial question on your own. I'm going to ask you to compile a report. So I will give you a question for you to be able to share with us so that you give us at least an idea of what it is that you're going to share with us today, or make your own report. And I will make sure that this report rotates around your home. That is for the simple report. General report, I'm going to ask you to investigate something, and I will also be able to give you that. So today, straight away, I'm going to general report. That this is the kind of report which deals with investigating of issues in detail. For example, a strike in a school, a sex scandal in a company, increased indiscipline in school, mysterious attacks in a place. For us who are in Masaka, this would be a very good report for us to write. You know, the mysterious attacks in a home, sex scandals in a company. This also can come to our own homes. There are many maids who are sexually harassed, and so many children who have been sexually harassed, or rape, and all those fall under the sex scandals. School strikes, definitely these ones are out now there because we are all at home. But we shall rotate around issues like increased indiscipline at school. So these are the kind of reports. The report where you are asked, you were not there, but they tell you, go as the class monitor and find out why students no longer want to attend to teacher so and so. Now you go and ask each student, or you go and ask the major students, why don't you want to attend? What is wrong with this teacher? So that's what we are saying. At that point, this report involves investigation, where you, a student, find yourself looking for information. You go and ask others why this is happening. If it was a fight, for example, what caused the fight? Who started the fight? So you need to do those investigations. A sexual scandal. What caused the boss to rape the worker? Or what caused the worker? The Kabura issue right now that is going on, there's that issue. So you find out, was it the pastor's wife who started, or it was Kabura who found himself there? Or it was generally the devil, like we usually blame the devil, or it was the devil that caused the accident. So you need to do an investigation. This report requires us to write subtitles, because eventually there is procedure for doing so. If you've seen any of these reports, someone maybe could come and, before I run to the next thing, have you seen this type of report, or have you been asked to write this kind of report before? You can be able to share with us if you have more knowledge on this kind of reports, or if you have a question before I proceed to the components. This is the time for you to put up your hand and share with us. Yes. So can I assume you've understood? You can put up, you can simply text, you can put in the chat if you've understood. I can proceed. If you've understood, you let me know. Rebecca, can you now see my screen? Okay, Blessing has understood. If other people have understood, you can simply let me know. Rebecca, can you now see my screen? Benjamin, what haven't you understood? Come and ask. This is a good time. Benjamin, put up your hand and I do pick you to ask exactly where you have an issue.
I never understood the other explanation that you have just explained.
Which one?
The
On what
last
exactly? On what exactly? Because I have been able to give you the definition of a general report that involves investigating issues
So I can't
in
hear
detail.
you. What's going on?
Maybe it's your network. Do we have other people who cannot hear me? Mr. Dumba? Mr. Dumba is
Sammy,
away.
I can hear you.
So it is maybe that person's network. Okay, so it's that person's network. Try to relocate yourself. Go to a good network area in your house. By now, you should have known which area serves you well. So, okay, for those who are listening in, let's mute our microphones. Okay, understood. Those who are saying they have not, I've said I've defined what a general report is, that it involves investigation of issues in detail. For example, a strike in a school, a sex scandal in a company, increase in discipline in school, mysterious attacks in a place. For example, the police right now is doing a lot of investigations around Masaka. What is causing this silence, the panga wielding assailants to hack people in Masaka? That is what we are saying. So the report they would write is what we call an investigative report. Benjamin, your hand is up.
Yes, I was trying to say, the other example that you've given us, is it a general report?
Which one? What I have given, what I first gave you what I first gave you was an example of the simple report because most of you did not go to your Google Classroom. Then I said, today we are going to look at the general report. The first one was a simple
Because you had
report.
said that.
Mm.
Because you had said that a general report whereby cases are complained, like in schools where there was a strike or any other thing in the community. Because when I look at the other report, it also looks like a general because it is also reporting about a community, what happened, or an attack, something.
Okay, now maybe I understand you now. Benjamin, the simple
Yes.
report we looked at, the first one, when something happens, you are there. Let me show you, for example, if you look at
When something happens when you are there.
yes, so you simply narrate, but this general report, things happen when you're not there, then they send you in the same community. Are we together? So for example, we are
Yes.
saying that when those attacks happen, like for example, when they attacked Mama Village, the person narrating was there. That's why the person said that the person is able to narrate for you exactly what is happening because they are seeing it. But here now, if we were to write that same report, you will have to use words like, it is reported that, are we together? Most people confirmed that, so you will be reporting other people's ideas. That's what we call, that is the difference. Okay. So we look at the components.
I now
the next.
understand.
Okay, thank you so much. The components here now we have. The components here now we have a title. We still have a title in this report, and this title must still have the receiver and the purpose of the letter. That is the first thing we always have to have. We must have a title which contains the receiver and the purpose of the report. Just like we had in the other one, a report to the resident district commissioner about the attack. So we shall have the same kind of title which has a receiver and the purpose of the report. Then an introduction. What is this report about? So you will have to introduce that report. This time, this one is optional for you to put the subtitle. After the introduction, you put terms of reference or scope of report, issues to be covered. In fact, this one now, instead of using this slide, let me show you exactly this other slide. Let me show you this other slide. It will help you make more sense. We shall be looking direct at those components. I had tried scanning here. Please, people whose microphones are on, I really don't know why your microphones are on. JK, you're giving us a bloody nose. Now, Lucifer, Rebecca, please mute. So as I was saying, the example is here. These ones have more explanations. For example, these ones. I said the first one, there are people who cannot just listen. This sports outreach. Your microphone is irritating us. I mute you, you unmute. What do you want to say? May you please speak? Sports outreach. I don't know what you want to tell us. You're irritating us. So I said the basic parts of a good investigative report are here. It must have a title. That title should indicate the content of the report. To be brief, for example, a report to the head teacher on students' welfare and sanitation in the dormitory. So that is what we can. So it has the receiver, who is the head teacher. You can clearly see the head teacher is here, is the receiver of the letter, and the purpose of the letter is the welfare and sanitation in the dormitory. Are we together? Then it has what we call terms of reference. This sets out clearly this. Beg your pardon?
Not seeing your screen.
Are you sure?
Teacher, we can't see your screen.
So we are not seeing.
Oh, sorry.
Your screen.
Sammy, I can see.
You can see the screen.
Can't see your screen.
Yeah, me, I can
No.
No,
A person
some of
who is
us can see.
Teacher, some
Sammy,
of us we can't see.
I can see.
Now what is happening?
Me
If others are
too.
seeing and
So we
let
can
me-
see.
Teacher Lurry,
Yes.
Papa is saying.
what we are seeing is your folder, Larry new, with the contents of the,
Yeah.
of the folder.
Okay, let me close this one. I think I picked a wrong tab. Now that is okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. So this is
We are just stuck in one place.
So I was telling you that the title must have a receiver and the purpose of the letter. And the purpose of the letter here is welfare and sanitation in the dormitory. It must also have terms of reference. This sets out clearly the specific purpose of the report, scope and limitations. Some brief background to the report is also given. I will be able to clearly show you that in our example. It must also be having the procedure or methods of working. I will share this in our notes. But to make this more, since we already have an idea of the reports, let me take you straight to the example. You look at this. This is my example that I decided to give you. I don't know who is writing on the screen. It could be able to help us. So I gave my example here and said, I report to the head teacher on the fire outbreak in the boys' dormitory. Now, this must be an investigative report because most times you were not there when the fire happened. So they can hire a company to investigate what happened and that company can choose to write. So then this is your introduction that I hope you're seeing. Now, this is your introduction. This first bit is your introduction. You may not write the word introduction, the subheading, because these are the subheadings we're talking about. These ones here. These are the subheadings that are given or that we must have in the investigative report, which is different from the other report. The simple report does not have these subheadings, terms of reference, procedure, findings. So after your introduction, you go to terms of reference. That the investigation that was launched, the purpose was to find out the cause of the fire and analyze the extent of the damage. So you who is researching, we are looking at it and asking you to tell us, why did you do this report? You put them here under terms of reference, how you are operating eventually. And who was asked? Who did you interview? You put it down here. Who was interviewing? So you say the prefects were also authorized to interview the warden and the security men who visited the relevant places. We were supposed to submit our report to the head teacher by the end of February. Are we together? So this is an old one. Perhaps these are just wrong dates, but the whole point is you must have the subtitles and what is contained in them. There's always that one student who wants to annoy you, but you just have to cool down. Who is calling Kathy? Can you please pay attention? Let me take Melvin. Melvin's hand is up.
So teacher, does it mean that it's a must to put the subheadings?
Very much. And also, I wish I would have another degree. That is what gives you the difference between the simple report and an investigative report. Are we together? So
Yes,
it is a
thank you,
must.
teacher.
You're welcome. JHK, your hand is up. JHK, your hand is up. JHK, your hand is
So I
up.
can't hear anything.
That is weird now. Maybe
Sir,
it's your network.
can
Try to
you
relocate
hear?
yourself. Try to relocate yourself. It could be your network. Okay, so let's get back to what we're looking at. So terms of reference and then the procedure. How did you do it? You know, we visited the Gata dormitory several times and meticulously, that is accurately, examined the different cubicles that were saved from the fire. We also interviewed the warden and security men of the various occasions. The only external trip we made was to Mukono Fire Brigade. So we expected you
Sir,
must
I can't
have.
hear anything. Sir, I can't hear anything.
Is that the same with everyone?
We can hear.
Teacher
We can
Lurry,
hear
how-
you.
can
No,
hear.
teacher, we can
No,
hear
teacher.
you
Me, I
very
can.
well.
No, this fellow
Not
is
for us, we are
Okay,
hearing.
JHK,
Sir, I can't hear
No.
anything.
JHK,
and he's complaining.
is your hand still up? Can we help you, JHK?
JHK can't hear you. You type and you tell him.
Yeah, first we want to rename him appropriately. So, Teacher Lurry, let the class go on. Let me engage JHK.
Okay.
Sir, I can't hear anything.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Please be nice to your friend. He's not hearing, they will help him. So as I was still trying to tell you that these are very important. So the first bit of this that I shared with you is for you to be able to understand. This
Sir,
help you.
I can't hear anything.
Okay.
First look.
Someone, Mr. Dumba, find a way to mute that fellow permanently for now. Then you help him, then he comes back. So this, even if I mute him, he comes back the same way. So I have given you this with a bit of explanation. These notes will help you. This bit of notes will help you to be able to understand what do they mean by procedure. Or procedure is the method you used. Either it was through interview, either scrutinizing documents. You pick a document and you examine it and be able to pick small details. Observation is another method of collecting data or method of performing your investigation, observation and examination. So you can be able to use any of these methods and you include them in the procedure. For example, you say, we interviewed a number of students, or we scrutinized a number of documents and realized that they were forged, or we observed that most of the dormitories are never closed or were never closed before break time. Now that is now how you can be able to use this, but you must write the subtitle procedure. Then you go to findings. This is the longest part of the report. It contains the nature of investigations carried out, findings, and the discussion. It presents facts, views, illustrations, and all the other forms of data, but most importantly, the results that came out, which enables the reader to understand the subject. So when you go to findings later on, I want you to be able to give us something substantial. So this is the biggest part of your report. Let us try to look at mine that I presented, for example, in my sample report here. If you look at my sample report under my findings, so this is the most important. We noticed that there were several cigarette scotch marks on the floor. Now, up here, when you told us that you questioned or you interviewed security men and women, you did not tell us exactly what they told you. Here, you're only telling us the methodology and the procedure. However, what they said you will put in the findings. Otherwise, most of you will now begin putting so much work under terms of reference and procedure. We are saying put all what people tell you, or all your observations, put them under findings. Sorry. We noticed that there were several cigarette scotch marks on the floor and tops of the mattresses. We also found out that both the warden and the security guards were smokers and had been using ashtrays. They also informed us that there had been absence of no smoking signs in the dormitory. Now, this is observation. So you're able to give us all the findings, but you put those findings under subtitle findings. And then you will conclude your report after writing all your findings. Then you conclude, you tell us, we believe that the fire in the dormitory. Now here you tell us now the cause of the fire, because remember your title is to the head teacher on the fire outbreak. Your conclusion will give us that. I hope that is clear. Your conclusion must be able to give you that. Okay, so let me go back to the other ones because this will also help you. You need this. So I said after findings here, after your findings, you write your conclusion. This deals with what can be deduced from the findings. That is the logical implication of the findings. New material evidence should not be presented or introduced at this stage. It should only be those that you have managed to come. After concluding is when you recommend. Now you will recommend and tell maybe the head teacher, you as the person who was doing research, you recommend. To recommend means you give suggestions on how this can be avoided or how this can be made better. Are we together? You do that, how it could be made better. How can we improve hygiene, for example? Or how can we do away with such fires? That's why here I said, after the dormitory has been repaired, no smoking signs should be prominently fixed there. We recommend that the school also installs fire extinguishers in the dormitory. So these are your suggestions, but they come after the conclusion. So you first conclude your report before you give your suggestions. Then you come down here, report compiled by, you sign, name in capital letters, your designation or your position. The person who wrote this report was the head prefect. And then later on, you write the date for us in a formal manner. This date should be formally written. This is the formal way. 12th January rather, comma 2021 or whatever date you'd have written your report under. So this report has what we call subheadings. Those subheadings help you to write in those sections. We do not skip lines, we write them. It is okay for you to write this at the margin. You put findings, then you underline. Then you come and write an indented paragraph below it. That is what we call an a general report or an investigative report. At this point, if you have questions, I welcome them. I welcome your questions at this point. Yes, students, have we understood? If you have questions,
Yes, teacher.
even those with questions, this is the time I'm going to ask you to come up and ask as many questions as possible so that we polish report writing. Yes, Maria, your hand is up.
Excuse me, teacher.
You're excused.
Is it a must that we should put the headings like the terms of preference, or it's just like you're giving us an example?
No, but that's what I've told you, that example, this is how they are supposed to be. This is a sample report here. This is how your report should look like. This is the title. Are we together? The first thing here is the title, this one. So you have a title. Then this is the introduction. So they must be there like that. Then you go to terms of reference. That's why I gave you these other explanations up here, what we mean by terms of reference. When you come here, I told you terms of reference, this sets out clear the specific purpose of the report and how wide the scope is, how wide you're supposed to go on covering your report. The extent, for example, how the area of coverage and the limitations. Some brief background to the report is also given. This is what we mean by terms of reference. So the first bit of these notes will help you to understand exactly what you're supposed to put under here. So you must have subtitles just the way mine are presented here. You have these terms of reference, procedure, findings, and then conclusion, and then finally recommendation. So you must have them like that. They must be there. Those subtitles must be there. Another hand. Noreen, I thought you're going to speak. Asimwet, was that okay?
Yes.
Okay. There was another person asking in the place of Asimwe. Are you sharing a phone?
No.
Okay. Can I assume that we have all understood? Sports outreach is again here unmuting. Do you want to say something? Okay. There's this person. What is your name, first of all? I don't think you're called Sports Outreach. What is your name? What is your name? Mary, your hand is up. Mary, your hand is up. Mary, your hand is up. Okay, seems some people just enjoy putting up their hands. Now I will go to my.
Yes.
Yes, what do you have to say?
Yes, sir.
Your hand is up, so I'm expecting a question.
Oh, so the thing is, I'm not
You are not, then you go off. Okay, as she prepares to come back, I have sample practice questions here. These are sample practice questions you can be able to attempt. That your school has recently experienced a student unrest. As a head prefect, the school administration has appointed you as the secretary to the team that has been assigned to investigate the matter. Write a report of the proceedings, findings, conclusion, and recommendation of the team. So you can just choose a number here. This will help you to accurately be able to practice. These things are about practice. Is it that every subtopic needs one paragraph? No, it's not a must. You could, for example, introduction, the proceedings, methodology, all those can be in a single paragraph. But findings could be in more than one paragraph, because that is where the longest, that is the core bit. So you can write more than one paragraph if there were different issues in there. So it's not compulsory that it's fixed in one. Please send on Google Classroom. I already sent this work to the Google Classroom. All this work that we are sharing is in the Google Classroom.
Excuse me, teacher.
You're excused.
I would like to ask you for the directions to the Google Classroom.
Mr. Dumba, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you could share another link to Google Classroom with these students, some of them are asking
in
about
the chat.
It is okay.
Oh, okay. Who was this asking? Was it?
Even the link for YouTube.
The YouTube link.
Those are usually shared in the WhatsApp group. Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Let me send in the chat right now.
Okay,
yes, John.
The WhatsApp group.
You want to join the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, they are going to share all those links with us.
Okay.
Janet?
Share the one for
the
Google.
It is okay. Be nice when you ask him. You say, please.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
After doing the work, are we going to send our answers in the Google Classroom?
This is for practice, so you can do it on your own.
Okay.
This is for just practice. I haven't put it as an assignment. However, you can always do and then you send to me individually, or you can maybe send to the group. But it's better if you send to me, because not everyone does these things. So some of you, I find that you don't like doing assignments, and yet it's the only way to learn.
Okay, teacher.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending. Those who were able, God bless you and have a beautiful day.
I just sent the Google Classroom code.
Okay.
And then directions to the YouTube channel.
Okay. So everything is here in the Google Classroom, in the chat. You're welcome.
Thank you, teacher.
All right, bye.
Bye, teacher.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.